What's good? It's your boy Czar, All Rights Reserved. The next story and tale and theory we're going to get into, I will announce it on the comment section. You can go check it in the commentary that I do in community. I'll express to you also the deep truth. And here's a deep truth you need to know. Part of the reason X was dealing with this situation is because he was not only battling his own inner demons, but he was literally battling witches and warlocks. I'm telling you this 100%. This is the truth. You can believe what you want to believe around it. There was a lot of things going on around him. He was battling through situations where people were trying to get him involved in rituals. There were people trying to do rituals around him. There was even a recording I received. Now that I am hesitating to release only because it is not me who owns the rights to it. I have to wait. But there's a recording where he's talking to a person who's teaching him a ritual while he's in prison over the prison phone. That is 100% true. I have to ask and see if I am eligible to release this, because the moment I release this, they're going to be all over here again, trying to stop it from being able to go, trying to report it. It's not my property, but I do have rights to it through the person that recorded it. So I have to make sure that that is okay for me to release before I do any releasing of it. And my thing is, they're going to say, oh, that's not true. And trust me, I'm telling you, it was one of the first receipts I ever received doing this. They let me listen to it. And he did an incantation, whatever it was, over the phone for him and taught him how to do it. Now, it gets that deep. That is why I'm telling you, you have to understand this goes deep. He was surrounded by people who were involved in magic and things that he himself was not familiar with at one point. He became familiar when he was in a jam and he got out of it. They were literally teaching him this stuff so he can get through what he's doing. And they were mentioning different people. He was going through it, telling them, I don't know. He was unsure about it, but they were helping him. He was like, what is that thing again? Over the phone. He was asked the person that. And they said, oh, that thing, this thing. And they were like, okay. And explained it to him and told him how to do it. Told him how it goes. Told him what to say. These are the things. He was not familiar with this stuff. He had people around him. He was surrounded by people who dabbled in this type of magic stuff, or sorcery, I should say. He was not familiar with this. That is why I do not believe this situation was his intent. I believe he ended up in it because of other people's choices around him that were made on his behalf. Okay? Now, you got to understand, this runs deep in the game. There are a lot of things that involve dark magics and different things of this nature. That is the bottom line. Bottom line. Period. And they know it. So the thing is, you guys can try and debunk it all you want. You already know about the proof that exists. Now, I know it can be found online. If you search really hard, you can find it. We had it. Or should I say we have it. And we had it then. But it was one of the things I did not speak about because it did not involve his immediate situation to the case. There were suspects. They said they didn't do it. They're still claiming they didn't do it as they're fighting, as a lot of lawyers, judges, and stuff are involved in this. It is not cut and dry, guys. I don't care how cut and dry someone makes it. Oh, he's this person. Oh, she's this person. So it's supposed to be like this. It does not run like that. He was literally learning about it as he went. He was not intentionally trying to be driven into darkness. It was introduced to him in situations of his own darkness and things he was battling. That's why I told you the people that were actually doing it had to be around him and exposing him to this lifestyle. It was not intentional. He was young. You know, when you're young and doing things, not that he's dumb, but it's the situation he's in and it seemed beneficial. He was believing what people were telling him. That's the problem. If people around you don't move a certain way, then they're going to expose you to things you should not be exposed to. They're going to put you in situations you should not be inside of. That is the truth of the matter. We're talking about legit truth versus people speculating. This is all true, all put out there. Everything. This became official to me when one of the people who claimed to be his friend and rushed to the hospital when he was in his situation had said, we love that day. They love that day. Why would they love the day of someone passing if they did not intentionally want to see it or did not want to introduce him to these things? That's just a fact. You wouldn't love it. How would you love a day where he passes? That makes no sense at all. You can't mistakenly say that. You can't accidentally say, oh, I love that day. Come on, guys. And especially to show up to the hospital he's at. And the only thing I'm still trying to understand is if all of it is so this person's that person, this is that person, then why are there medical records for those people that you claim they are? And how is it put up as this person's deceased and they're not? Are you saying, I want you to understand how deep that goes. There has to be a ton of people involved, including hospitals, authorities, everyone. And if that's true, then there's a bigger case here than anyone knows about. Literally. The evidence will have to come from the inside. Literally. Somebody would have to betray what it is that they stand for. Now, I can tell you this. This is the one thing I can tell you. There are people immediately around that I've spoken to that have proof of this being the case, of the people dabbling in all these things I mentioned, from the voodoo I mentioned to the black magic, all of it. There's evidence of it, period. Guys, if my faith wasn't so powerful and the beings I'm attached to that are deities beyond everything that they talk about weren't so powerful, do you think they would not have tried to work that on me? Let me ask you, do you really believe they haven't tried these spells and pointed them towards me at all? So I haven't experienced anything to attest to their dark dealings at all. At all. You see publicly what I speak on, publicly what happens. But do you actually know what goes on around a YouTuber's life when it comes to these type of things? I'm being honest with you. These are the things and the people he dealt with daily. And the betrayal, the level of betrayal he had to deal with. It is insanity, truly. And it's a sad story because you're a young man growing up, believing in what you're told, people older than you that have your back financially or in some way supporting you, but ultimately looking for your demise, and you don't even know it. These are the type of things a lot of young artists coming up in the game deal with. And I don't think anyone understands it. Sometimes if they don't have a strong faith, it's hard for them to detail what they're experiencing. They just think it's like a dream. So they just ignore it or don't want to talk about it because it does get to a level of anxiety. These are the things he dealt with. So if they say there was no warlocks or witchery around him, do not believe it. Don't be fooled. That's why I told you and posted those verses. Those are the verses that detail to you the future and the intent of people when you are someone of notoriety. These are the same things Jesus himself dealt with. How can we say this is fake? But it's so truthful because this person is saying it because they have a bunch of videos saying this and that and this and that. Come on, guys. You got to look through. Don't let yourself be fooled by people who were never here. When we first started this journey, who was here with us? I was calling out things before they happened for a reason. I was telling you truth before you even knew what a truth was. People were asking me behind the scenes, how do you know that? And I didn't know them. Asking me, how did you figure that out? And I didn't figure out who they were yet. Guys, I'm telling you, look at the devil in the details. Look at the devil in the details. Make sense of it. Look at everything around his legacy. Look at who's tainting his legacy. Look at who's inspiring his legacy. Look at who he rocked with when he was in touch with them. Look at who he didn't. I'm telling you guys, don't be fooled by the people making up lies to cover up truthful things. This is a normality, because if it comes out and you know their identity, you'll really know how deep the rabbit hole goes. You'll know, and you'll see it for yourself. I'm telling you, man, do research on exactly how sorcery works, on exactly how people get involved in certain things and rituals people do, the type of things that to summon things, to empower things. Look at behavior. See who really cared. See who really is trying to do good. See who really is trying to do bad. Now, remember, when we took this journey, what were we doing? It was justice for Ja, right? Why weren't they jumping up saying justice in the first place? Why were they not really caring? Why were everything that it seemed they were involved in was getting to the money surrounding his name from the jump? From the start of the series, I have not switched up. How many people have switched up on me? How many people have turned their backs on what we're doing? Especially dealing with the suspects. How many people act like they care and don't really care? All they care about is the financial gain. Come on, y'all. This is cut and dry. It's cut and dry. It's right there in front of you. You have to pick a side. Same thing with your soul. You got to pick a side. Where do you want your soul to be? Do you care? Where does it matter? Who's really caring about your soul? Who's really doing stuff or putting you in situations to harm your soul? You get one soul, not two, not three, not a redo, not a do-over. One soul. Who really cares about it? Come on. If he was cared about as much as everyone claims, why was he in these situations and these people were around unharmed, untouched, unfazed to the point they can still walk around, breathe in air, cry, get on the video and television and still talk about it? And I'm talking about who was right around him. Look at them. You're right beside him. He still is harmed in a situation and you're not working to make it any better. Look at the controlled media hopping up that I spoke on last video, telling you about. This is the last one before I drop what I'm going to do. I may even drop it tomorrow to air out, because this is so important. It's crucial. It's not as crucial for you to know exactly who did it, to know who's getting arrested, to know who's being framed, to know who's doing this, as much as it is for you to understand how important your soul is, how important you are, how important it is you know who you're praying to, you know who your soul belongs to. This is about empowering you. What was he doing before he passed? Helping children, buying them things, trying to encourage them, trying to get them in a better spot. Why does bad stuff happen to him in the midst of doing such good like that? Think about it. Does that make sense? Who wasn't helping him do that? Come on, guys. I know you know. Stop playing. All rights reserved. Your favorites moguls favorite time. You know who it is. All rights reserved. We in the building. Stay true, pray up, and stay focused on the mission. You got voting to do soon. Who are you voting for? Do you even know that? Come on. all rights reserved.